So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And a really frustrating night, a frustrating loss to Liverpool. Yeah, look, let's just get straight into it with the elephant in the room. What the hell was that pass about? I don't know. I'm tick. I'm annoyed. I'm whatever adjective you want to use. A very Aston Villa, very, you know, the way they talk about Spursy things that happen in games. This is a very Villa-y thing that happened in this game. There was 3 instances of it. There was the bowing of the heads after. Look, the first 42 or 3 minutes were grand. Their offside goal that they got should have been the shot across the bow that we needed. And then 60, 70, 80 seconds later, then Martinez passes the ball to Salah and he rolls it into an empty net. You get into half time there and anything can happen in the second half. That's the mentality we should have. The thing that's annoying me most is that like, it's not like it's the first time. It's not like it's the first time that these players have ever stood on a field. They're seasoned internationals, they're experienced players. And you look up the clock and you see 45+1 on the clock. And you start you make brain dead errors like that, and you don't go, right, we have what we hold. Like in what world, in what universe, in what dimension are we going to counterattack from there in the 45th plus one minute and go and score a goal? In that instance, it should be a case of we're away from home. We need to get in and get into the dressing room, regroup again, and come back out with the same mentality of frustration and try and hit them on the break later on in this game. You can't win the game in that moment when Martinez tries to make that pass. You cannot win that game in that instance. And he's an experienced player, and that's why I will go in two-footed on him in this instance. It's just his fault, and he's had, in big games recently, for Aston Villa, Emi Martinez has been found wanting. End of last year to get into the Champions League, found wanting. Have the saga over the off-season, found wanting. And then back, and then this game where we have an opportunity to go third, continue our streak, make a statement win away, or at least a statement performance away at Anfield, and he throws in the Rick. That's very frustrating, very annoying. And that shocked and bemused look on his face in the camera afterwards is not good enough. It's not good enough. The body language coming out of the dressing room was not good either. He walked over and slunk against the wall. No one even looked at him. I made a point of it. My missus was in the room with me. I made a point of going, interesting to see if they cut to the tunnel here. Cut to the tunnel. All the other players were talking to each other. He had his back up against the wall, hiding away from everybody else. And I don't buy an awful lot into that body language stuff, but in an instance like that, he made the mistake, and I hope somebody got in his face in that dressing room. I hope somebody let him know you can't do this. You can't do that. You have to be better than this. We look to you for leadership. We look to you for experience. We look to you for something to make us tick. Yes, you're a great shot stopper. Yes, you can be good with your feet on any given day. Today, you weren't throughout the course of the first half, and then you passed the ball to Mo Salah, and he rolls it into the back of an empty net. And Salah wasn't exactly playing great, and Liverpool as a collective unit weren't exactly playing great at that time. But then they come out in the second half with a 1-0 lead that they know that they absolutely pulled their pants down for, and then they go away and we can't get a touch in it, and we turn into Aston Villa under Steven Gerrard in that very, very moment. It killed all the confidence. It killed any momentum. We'd hit the post twice in this game. Very unlucky not to have scored from Rodgers' shot. The second one then was a deflected one. Mamardashvili gets a hand to it, goes off the crossbar from Cash. We were at least doing something prior to that goal. And then that goal goes in. it just literally sucked all the air out of Aston Villa, all the confidence out of us from an attacking point of view. And yes, at the end of the game, after we went 2-0 down, we had a couple of attacks. We had a couple of chances. Malin hits one, smacks the steward. Excuse me, just standing behind the goals. And that was really it. We just didn't have it. We just there was nothing going for us. And then to cap it all off, Tyrone Mings then pulls a hamstring and is going to be back out for another period of time. It's frustrating and it's really frustrating. And I don't mind how we played tonight. I see on social media, and I don't have your comments open here at the moment, guys. I see on social media, Liverpool were beaten with the long ball, last 4 weeks in a row and all this kind of stuff. Liverpool adapted their backline massively tonight, hugely. With Ryan Gravenberch in there, they could absolutely do that. They could do that. So Villa didn't even have the option of playing those long balls tonight. And you will see that if you go back and you watch it. And if you see that the average starting position of the Villa players in comparison as well to where the Liverpool players were, it's not as easy as just lump that ball forward. Commentators mentioned it 3 or 4 times as well. And look, that's fine. I don't expect a commentator to be to be watching how Liverpool's back four are setting up as opposed to how they set up last week and the week before and stuff like that. I don't expect that to happen, but it's just an easy thing to throw out. Well, everyone else kicked it long. Why didn't Villa kick it long? Liverpool adapted. Liverpool's fullbacks were in much different positions, but you know why? Because there were two different fullbacks. That's why. And they played, and they had a better shielding system in front of them with Gravenberch and McAllister. So I'm not even entertaining arguments about that. It's a moot point. It's a conversational point that's thrown out, that would be thrown out to be like, well, that's why Villa didn't win. It's not why Villa didn't compete. It's not why Villa didn't win. It probably wouldn't have worked anyway the way our fullbacks set up. And I am shot out of a cannon with regards to this. The problem here was that one of the most experienced players in our team passed the ball to a 249 goal striker who only had to roll it into the back of the net from 8 yards out 8 yards out from goal. And that is an issue. That is a massive issue. In the 45th plus 1 minute, it's a huge issue. And that single-handedly is the reason why we have a second half performance like we have, because our game plan goes out the window, and their game plan, they can implement plan B, because essentially they can go forward and they've got all this confidence, and they're at home as well. But we are absolutely, we've nullified our frustration tactic, and we have to try and come out of our shell. But then what they need to do is they just need to hold on to the ball in the second half. And literally for the first 15, 20 minutes, I think it was, what was it? Something like 82% possession to 18% possession. And that's what they did. They just held on to the ball. And they could do that because we had a moment of absolute just lapse of concentration, sloppiness, and silliness from World Cup winner, and somebody who I need to have more from. Specifically after he had a brain dead moment against Man United at the end of the season as well, and he had it again here. Incredible. Stopped some really, really good shots today. Really, really good shot stopper. Brilliant. But he's the reason we went 1-0 down solely, single-handedly, full stop, end of story. And that's it. And that's the story of the game. The story of the game is Villa go 1-0 down against a team that were lacking confidence, that were potentially going in, after you go into the half at that stage and you go, yeah, Liverpool had a goal ruled off for offside, but Villa hit the crossbar and they hit the post. Villa have had attacking chances as well. That's what the halftime is. And the halftime team talk is rousing from Villa. It's like, more of the same, please, guys. Frustrate these guys. Next time we get a chance, let's take it. Let's not hit the post, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But the halftime team talk is like, Emmy, what were you doing? It was definitely going to be addressed. You're 1-0 down. And then Liverpool's halftime team talk is, lads, we've gotten away. We've gotten a goal. We need to push on here. We need to get a goal early in the second half. And yes, their second goal was deflected as well from Gravenberch. So they had an element of fortune in both of their goals, but they were the better team. They were the better team, very much so, after that first goal. And once that first goal goes in, the whole landscape of the game has changed. it's one I will watch back because I want to see when I watch this game back. I was happy with a lot of performances. That's this funny thing about it. And like I don't blame an awful lot of outfield players for like, okay, right, yeah, Onana was silly putting his hands into McAllister's face, and then he goes away and he does it again. He needs to cut that out of his game. He's 6'6", 6'7". No, he's not going to get away with any of that stuff. He's never going to get away with it. Even if VAR wasn't there, he's never going to get away with it. Small man falls down beside a big man. Something's always going to happen. There was no need for it as well. Like, he just basically stood there. He was looking for somebody to push. He needs to cut that out of his game. It's just silly. Like, Morgan Rogers looked good tonight. Morgan Rogers looked very good tonight. Boubacar Kamara looked really good. Like, he's a superb player. Superb player. Looked really, really good tonight. I thought Luca Dean was very good in the first half and defended resolutely in the second half. You know, so there was performances there tonight, but that first goal really, really kills us. And that's the long and the short of it. I don't know, is there any more that I really want to go on about, really just on my own here? And the reason for that is because I'm just really consumed by playing that first goal over and over in my head, and I'm frustrated with it. I really, really am. And I will be going on live with Dan Rollinson in a moment, and I'm sure he's going to have other talking points that he wants to talk about as well. But at the moment, everything will circle back to that with me if I'm talking on my own. I'm not being led down the garden path about what to answer. So I do apologize. This has been a very wordy, very, very mouthy, a very frustrated post-match podcast. Warranted, I feel. But maybe we might have more in this. Watch this game back and see what we can pluck from this. But it's not going to define our season, this game. It won't. It's frustrating for me here in the moment at 11 minutes past 10 because it was a self-inflicted wound. It was we dropped the cinder block on our own foot here in the first instance, and then we limped through the second half. And once they got their second goal, like there was no, we were not winning that game. We were not drawing that game once they got their second goal, and Liverpool got what they needed from this game. They got an easy win for a finish. They got a confidence building situation in front of their fans, and their fans got to see a win at home. They're only their second time in the last 8 games, so they got everything they needed from this. We couldn't have got more of what we didn't need from this, as in a self-inflicted goal, a deflected goal, and then Tyrone Mings to go off and for us to finish the game with 10 players, if I'm not mistaken. So frustrating stuff for Aston Villa. When it rains, it pours kind of stuff, specifically not for the first 44 minutes, but for the 45th plus 1 minute. And I suppose the 45th minute when Ekitike scored that header, if it was the 45th minute. They were the obvious blemishes in the first half, but the second half, there was nothing really to write home about. It was all Liverpool from memory and my in the moment thoughts on it as well. So that's really it. I think I'm going to leave it at that, guys. A short and sweet final whistle podcast. But I will be over the coming minutes. If you guys want to jump over to Claret and Blue, I'm going to be over there, and hopefully it'll be better me talking to somebody else about this. And Dan will have obviously been professional about this because it's his job, Mr. Ronaldson. It's his job to do this, and I'm sure he will have talking points, and he won't be as fixated on that opening goal that has completely ruined Aston Villa's setup here today, and has allowed Liverpool the platform with which to have a rather easy win for themselves today, to get themselves out of their slump. So the way it went today, and Villa have to pull their socks up now and get themselves ready for Maccabi Tel Aviv at the weekend, on Thursday, and then back on the horse again then for the weekend as well. So listen, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. See you over on Claret and Blue in the next couple of minutes. But in the meantime, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say, even in defeat, as always, is up the Villa.